For our benchmark task for this particular learning unit, I asked you to identify all the points for and against treating the crashed German pilot well in Letters from the Lighthouse. What we're going to have a look at today is looking at this kind of writing, which is called a balanced argument or a discussion. We're going to have a look at it in a bit more detail. So I'm going to go through this PowerPoint presentation, and then I've got some arguments for you to have a look at, for you to identify the features of discussions or balanced argument texts. So our learning intention is to identify the features of a balanced argument, and these are non-fiction texts. So a discussion text presents a balanced argument. So that means that you have points for and you have points against. You must have both of those for it to be a balanced argument. And generally we have 3 points for and 3 points against. So for example, the crashed German pilot, we may have said that 3 points for treating him well. He's a human being. And we should treat people as we want to be treated. That's 1 point for treating him well. Another point for treating him well is, well, he's quite horrifically injured and he needs medical attention because he's in pain. That's another reason to treat him well. And the third reason to treat him well is one of the villagers says, well, we're not animals. We're not going to treat him badly just for the sake of it. And so treating him well shows what the villagers are like as good, decent people. 3 points against treating him well. He was responsible for a bombing raid on this country, so he's an enemy. That's a point against treating him well. Another one is he could be involved in the persecution of the Jewish people. That's another reason for treating him not very well. And another reason could be, well, simply, he is an enemy and he and his friends and his family are against us. So there we got 3 points for treating him well, 3 points for treating him not so well. So that's a balanced argument. And they're written for anyone who's interested in a subject, who wants to know all the facts and the different opinions. So let's have a look at where we would find balanced arguments. We find them in essays, which are pieces of writing. We find them in leaflets or articles giving a balanced account of an issue. We can find them in newspapers. Sometimes in a non-fiction book on a particular issue or a topic that might be in the news, like global warming. A write-up of a debate or a discussion. This is what they need. They need an aim, a purpose. They have to be about a particular subject. So they explain the issue being debated, and they have to state both sides clearly and fairly. They must give both points of view to be balanced. And they are to help the reader draw a conclusion based on the evidence. That is, the reader needs to come to their own ideas. They must make up their own mind from reading the 2 points of view. So this is how they're structured. They need a clear opening statement. We've learnt about that kind of thing before. That is the introductory paragraph which sets out what the writing is going to be about. We need the arguments and the evidence. We need to say our point and explain why that point is relevant, set out clearly. We need language which is going to help the readers follow the argument. Okay, we'll look at that a little bit later on. And then, of course, we need a conclusion. So we need our introductory paragraph, we need our arguments supporting, we need our arguments against, and we need our conclusion. Okay, let's have a look at these features, because this is what you are going to be identifying in the examples I've given you. There's a title that says what we're writing about. There's an introduction that states what the discussion is about. Arguments for, arguments against, and a conclusion which summarizes the debate. You can give your opinion at that stage as well. So that's a simple checklist for you of what kinds of things to find in the argument. Let's have a look at some more detail. Balanced arguments are written in the present tense because people are still discussing these things. They're written in third person. They're about something else. They use statistics to reinforce arguments. That is, they use facts. They might use percentages, like the example here. 50% of households in Sweden use wind power. They will use facts and figures to support the points for or against. They use connectives to link paragraphs, such as therefore, consequently, on one hand, alternatively. They use a very formal, impersonal voice. When looking at the evidence, so we've got some sentence openers there as well. They will ask questions of the reader to get people thinking and get people talking. Should students still wear school uniform? Who is to blame? Questions like that. They use a particular type of language that shows that people are arguing about something. Not an arguing where they're falling out, but a debate. No one can deny there is a lot of debate. Some people might say, other people think, that kind of thing. They use emotive, powerful language to try and persuade people to make up their mind either for or against. It's shocking. Innocent animals suffer. And they use technical language. Some examples there: infrastructure, economy, tourism, global warming. But the language will be different in yours depending on the subject you are going to be writing about. So it's language about the subject. So we've looked simply at the features of a balanced argument, and there are some other features which are looking at it in more detail. They don't take sides. They say what people think. So you might see phrases like, some people maintain, others argue, advocates of zoos would claim that, those against zoos replied. So it's not about you, it's about what other people might think. They keep it balanced. On the one hand, on the other hand, and they're not too definite. It could be claimed this might mean possibly, perhaps, so we use modal verbs in here as well. Okay, I have attached some examples of balanced arguments, and what I would like you to do is, using those statements that I've just gone through, which are a checklist of the kind of features you would see in a balanced argument, I want you to see if you can identify those features in the text that I have attached. There is a text for those that normally do D sheets, there is a text for those that normally do E sheets, and there is a text for those that normally do GD sheets. So choose the appropriate text, and remember how we do these. We do a color coordinated key, and then we underline evidence in the text in the appropriate color. We've done that many times before in class, so you know what you're doing with that. So your task today is to identify as many features as you can of a balanced argument.